God is good all the time. Good morning. A good evening. Merry Christmas. Okay. Our sermon today is entitled The Light of Christmas Helps Us to Dwell in Possibility. Light of Christmas helps us to dwell in possibility. Light is the metaphysical sense of the word. It means different things to different people. For example, in Buddhism, light refers to wisdom. But for us Christians, light speaks about life. God in Jesus Christ is life. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Whoever believes in him shall never die, but have everlasting life." As Christians, having a light and spirit, we don't give up very easily. Or we don't just leave it up for a moment. Never lost hope. Instead, we dwell in possibility. How to live with light of Jesus and dwell in possibility? I have three persons who had experience of dwelling in possibility with the light of Christ or with the light of Jesus. Number one, Thomas Edison. Thomas invented the light bulb, but it took him 700 attempts, 700 experiments, 700 failures before he invented the light bulb. He never gave up. And one of his assistants were trying to console him. But Edison didn't need any consolation. He said, "Now we know one more thing that won't work. Let's try again." Oh, I love Thomas Edison. If he stopped at 100 attempts, do you think we have a light bulb today? Light bulb. Now I know that when I see a light bulb, it tells me of 700 attempts, 700 experiments, 700 failures. And as for me, I'm just close to 73 attempts. 73 attempts. And I have never given up. Second, Abraham Lincoln. In the midst of civil war, Abraham Lincoln claimed that America was not engaged in this terrible war, struggle just for today, but was engaged for a whole vast future. He said, "We are not engaged in war, not just for today, but for the whole vast future." And how many wars we got involved in since then? World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, Desert Storm, Afghanistan. One more. And how many future wars we are faced with? Cyber war, space war, nuclear war, and many more. But the most important thing, Lincoln says that America keeps the light and the Spirit of Christ and continue to dwell in possibility. The third person who dwelt in possibility in the light of Christ is St. Francis of Assisi. It is very seldom that Christmas is associated with St. Francis. But it was him who introduced Christmas into the Christian festivals. During the 13th century, the church did not put much emphasis on Christmas. When Saint Francis visited the Holy Land, he caught a holy vision and the sweet music of the Christmas story. It came to him like a voice of the angels singing from above when Jesus was born. And years later, the whole Christendom was celebrating the birth of Jesus, the lowly manger, the shepherds was watching their flock by night. Never before did the church discover such a glorious, joyful meaning of Christmas. So today, the church, the Christmas spirit is alive because centuries ago, a man named Saint Francis of Assisi saw the beauty of the Christmas spirit and the light. And so Christmas has become an institution in our Christian life. But we are not quite sure whether Christmas has any redemptive influence upon our lives. There's a great number of people who, during this season, think more of mundane things than of the bigger needs of the Spirit. There were 3 men who were asked their 3 wishes for Christmas: an actor, a businessman, and a politician. The actor mentioned his 3 wishes. First, he said, I wish to become a successful actor so that I can win the most beautiful woman in the world. 2, he said, to have an island paradise to spend a honeymoon with that woman. And 3rd, he said, that I would be endowed to have a good singing voice to lure that woman to sleep in my arms. The businessman came next. He said, first, for the night to be longer, darker, and second, for my woman to be prettier and lovelier, and third, he said, for wine to be more plentiful and powerful. And then the politician came last. He said, first, I have just one ambition, to be successful, to be a successful politician. I don't care if my 2 wishes materialize. I just want to be the governor of my state. Sisters and brothers, if we are to capture the real spirit of Christmas, we should not eliminate Christ from Christmas. Christmas without Christ is not Christmas at all. Celebrating Christmas without Christ is not Christmas. Every year we celebrate Christmas. Same old story, same old songs, same old hymns, but each year we are faced with different problems, troubles, struggles. Someone dies, someone lost a job, someone afflicted by unexpected illness. Where is the light and spirit? I think so much of this. I think so much that God is telling me it is not so much what I see, but how I see. Let me explain that. It is not so much what I see, but how I see. I heard 2 men who were both seriously ill in a hospital. Neither of them could move or get out of bed, but one was allowed to sit up an hour a day, and he was next to the only window in that room. And the other man relied on him to describe what was out there. Well, the man said the window overlooked a park, a lake with ducks and geese, Canadian geese maybe. Children played and sailed their little boats. Men and women strolled beneath the trees. Beautiful sight. and there were flowers and well manicured lawn. It was beautiful. The second man would listen, and it got to the place where he could see it in his mind, this wonderful park, and couldn't help but think, when does he get the view? Why he couldn't be there looking at the window? One night late, the man by the window struggled. He woke up choking, coughing, his lungs congested, his hands groping for the button to call for help, but never found the button, never called the nurse. The second man didn't press the button either. He just lay there listening, can't do nothing. It was evening. The next day, they discovered this man near the window, his lifeless body, and he was taken away. And as soon as it was decent, the remaining man asked if he could be moved over by the window. So they moved him by the window. He was excited. And the minute they were gone, he propped himself up and looked outside the window. But to his surprise, there was no park. There was no lake, no ducks, no geese, no children, no trees. You know what? The window was facing a brick wall. The window was facing a brick wall. Sisters and brothers, on this Christmas Eve night service, God is telling us, God is telling me, God is telling you while you are here tonight, life is not what you see, but how you see. It is not the brick wall, or it is not the obstacle, the problems, the death, the illness in front of you. It's not the circumstances you are in, not what you see, but how you see them. It's how you dwell in possibility. When you are grieving, uncertain of the future, do you dwell in possibility, expecting that God is present each step of the way? When there is loss, you can't believe it. When there is brokenness, do you dwell in possibility, expecting mercy and forgiveness can occur? When you are in a dead-end situation, that all is gone, all is lost, do you dwell in possibility, expecting windows of opportunity? When the worst happens beyond anything you can imagine, do you dwell in possibility, expecting that God is still at work in your life? Sisters and brothers, this is the true spirit of Christmas, dwelling in possibility. Joseph and Mary dwelt in possibility. Imagine the angel said to them, the angel said, "You will bear a son and call his name Emmanuel." They were not given the freedom to call the child their own. They must have called him Barney or Irving or Joshua. Josh. The angel said, "Call his name Jesus, and he will save the people." And Jesus is the hope, the joy, the peace, and love. You know what? It wasn't easy for Mary to have a baby, but she has to make a room for this baby. Making a room is his future, whether she likes it or not. But Mary and Joseph understood everything. They dwelt in possibility. So with us, sisters and brothers, with the Spirit of Christ this Christmas, we just don't live up for the moment. We just don't give up very easily. We never lose hope. Instead, we dwell in possibility. There is still hope. Behind the clouds, the sun still shining. So, whenever you have problems, you thought it's the end, well, dwell in possibility. The Lord is still with us, and He will continue to be with us. Walking in the light of Jesus is a great blessing, while walking in the dark is terrible. So tonight, we'll make a decision. Are we walking in the light of Jesus in possibility? Or are we not dwelling in possibility and do it as it may? We're going to pass the light and make this be a time of prayer.